welcome to You Are Here. The subject I want to get into today is the subject of making assumptions. Now, we've all heard at one time or another that old saying, when you make an assumption, you're making an ass out of you and me. Well, there's some truth to that. I talked in an earlier episode about belief systems and beliefs. Assumptions run parallel to beliefs. Assumptions are usually like the I guess the best way to put it would be the cousin to your beliefs. Except assumptions seem to be more of a truth in our mind. Beliefs are more flexible. We seem to be more flexible with our beliefs. But assumptions, that's something that we know, and it can happen no other way. So how do assumptions hurt us? Well, they hurt us because we think we know what's going to happen no matter what. We wholeheartedly believe that there can be no other outcome except one. When we assume something, it also means that we kind of lost my train of thought on that. When we assume, we're hurting ourselves because all of the energy that we're putting out is an energy of this can be no other way. Therefore, we're creating it. It can be no other way. Our thought forms and our ideals surrounding any kind of specific situation are that of one outcome and one outcome only. 9 times out of 10 when we do this, we can only see the desired outcome because we assume, or we expect it to turn out that way. Let me give you a good example of this. We may be involved in a situation with some friends or some peers where we start to suspect jealousy amongst our social group, and we assume that a friend of our best friend is speaking ill about us. And when we do that, we are starting to build up all this resentment inside, all of these negative ill feelings. It's actually forming a sort of social toxin within inside of our stomach. It also starts to fester inside of our hearts and our minds. And we sit there and we focus on this one outcome because the friend of a friend might not have greeted us in a way that we thought was the most appropriate or that we thought was the most friendly or inviting. Therefore, our subconscious mind, our brains take that information from that experience and it runs with it. And we begin to assume that for whatever reason, this person hates us, it doesn't like us. And it's just a downward spiral of assumption and assuming. And we start to formulate just a really harsh and negative opinion about this individual when we don't really know them and we can't really see the whole picture. So we start to set up these negative feelings so the next time we have an interaction with this friend of our friend, we're very rude to them, we're very mean, we're very cold. And that's causing us to output really nasty, negative energy, really harsh vibes towards this individual who never really did anything to us in the first place. And it really starts to make this individual feel inadequate and broken down, and they may or may not know why. When the whole time, the only reason this friend of a friend that we met, that we thought was just hating on us, is just really socially awkward. They may have been abused when they were younger. They may have been involved in some sort of situation that just really makes them closed in when they're faced with a new social extreme, like meeting a friend of someone's friend, meeting the friend of the friend that they're friends with. They could have just been having a really bad day. There's any number of situations, but it doesn't necessarily mean that individual was hating on you. But the hate that you create out of assuming that you know how that person feels, out of assuming that you know what they're going through, and out of assuming that you just got it all figured out. That hate, that animosity that was created is very, very real. And it became a tangible thing because of our misperception, because of our assumptions. We see assumptions go awry in other settings other than just social dynamics. We see assumptions really hinder us when it involves a situation. We assume that, well, let me think. Let me put this into a better viewpoint for you. Assumptions can be surrounding a situation. We apply for a job that we really, really wanted. And upon applying for this job, the days and months leading up to that day that you went and applied for said job, you just had a lot of really, really bad experiences. And you were faced with a lot of no's and a lot of mishappenings. So we assume that going forward, that's going to happen this time too, and the time after that. And here we are again, just like the first scenario. We're putting out a really negative vibe surrounding a situation, a really hateful kind of a knowing, so to speak. And that knowing comes into fruition when we might actually get the interview. And because we know we're not going to get hired, or we assume that we're not going to get that job, it may cause us to be ourselves socially backward during the interview. We may be really short with the person giving us an interview. We may just come off with a really harsh vibe, and that could affect the perspective of the person giving us the job interview, when in reality that wasn't going to happen at all. But because we assumed it, we created this situation. We manifested all of this negative energy inside of our hearts and inside of our being, and therefore that radiated out from us during the job interview. And actually that was the cause of us not getting the job interview. And when we didn't get the job because of our assumptions, the subconscious mind and the brain is like, yep, there, see, happened again. Your assumptions were correct. Assumptions aren't necessarily always a bad thing, though. Assumptions can be a good thing as long as they're positive. It's just like any other mental dynamic that we've discussed. If you just assume all the time that things are going to go your way and that you were a good person and that the vibes that you put out are just that of love and kindness and just all doors are open to you, then more than likely, because you're outputting this positive energy of, I just assume everything's going to go my way and all doors are open and that I'm just a nice, loving person, people are going to sense that and they're going to feel that unspoken communication through your mental centers. They're going to assume that and they're going to feel that, and that is going to make a lot more opportunities open up to you. You're going to be overall a more likable person, more approachable. People are going to be more willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, and things are just going to work more in your favor because you're putting out a frequency, you're putting out a vibration of just absolute certainty in a positive light, in a positive manner. You're putting out that because you know that I'm a good person, or you know that you're a good person, and you just know that things are going to work out because you're deserving and you're worthy and things just always work out for you. That is a lot more advantageous to our life situations than assuming the worst or assuming the negative all the time. So assumptions are not always a bad thing. Assumptions can be very, very good if used rightly. It's just like any other mental faculty. A lot of our senses and a lot of our mental faculties are like tools. I've mentioned this before. Our mind as a whole is a tool, and when it's used rightly, it can serve us, or when it's used wrongly, it can be a very destructive force. We can be our own demise if we use our minds incorrectly and inappropriately. But I'd like to know what you think. When have assumptions in your life served you? Or when have assumptions been a great hindrance to you? Perhaps you're someone that's gone most of your life just assuming that no one cares about you, or no one wants to be around you, and therefore, because you assume that, and that's the vibe that you put off, it has an effect of making people not want to be around you because of your assumptions. People are more aware of things unspoken than what we can ever realize. And assumptions are just that great thing that tune our antenna, this brain. We are antennae, we are human antennas, and we are broadcasting a signal constantly, and we're also receiving those signals constantly. It's a two-way exchange of frequency and energy. And when our assumptions are good or bad, it's almost like assumptions are the dialing knob that tune us in whichever direction we're going to go, up or down, high or low. So make sure your assumptions are on point. And let's get some comments rolling. Let's get some comments started below, and let's talk about this. What are assumptions to you? I always ask that question. I can never teach anyone about any kind of subject, and I can only share with you my personal experiences and some things I've picked up along the way, and tell you what's kind of served me. It's ultimately up to you. Perception is absolutely relative. I say that just about every single video, and this is the same truth. This is the same kind of situation. Assumption and what assumptions mean is absolutely relative to your perspective, just like any other kind of social construct or ideology. So let me know what you think. Comment below. And if this video has served you in some way, or if you found value in it, or you know someone that might find value in it, please like, subscribe, and share my content. Posting a video a day. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's reach the world. Let's help some people. And let's exchange some ideas so that we can learn and grow together. That's what this channel is all about. Sorry, today's a shorter video for you guys. This is just where I'm at and some of the ideas that I had, and the feed is gone. So wherever you're at tonight, I hope everything's going wonderful for you. I hope you have a lot of love in your life, a lot of peace in your heart, and a lot of balance in your soul. Until next time.